At exactly 11:11 p.m., Evelyn cross-checked her apartment door lock for the 11th time. Not because the lock was broken, not because someone was outside, but because her mind kept telling her, if you stop checking now, something terrible will happen. And no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't ignore the fear. Before we begin, subscribe to the channel for more powerful psychological stories, emotional anime journeys, and life-changing lessons. Now, let's enter Evelyn's world. Rain tapped softly against the windows of Evelyn's apartment in Chicago. She stood frozen at the door. Lock. Pull. Check again. Her heart raced faster each time. Deep down, she knew the door was already locked. But OCD doesn't care about logic. It demands certainty. And certainty never feels complete. Evelyn was 28 years old and worked as an archivist at a museum. To everyone around her, she seemed calm and organized. But inside her mind, every day felt exhausting. Before leaving home, she checked the stove 5 times, the windows 3 times, and her bag repeatedly to make sure nothing dangerous was inside. If she tried to stop, anxiety flooded her chest instantly. It felt as if ignoring the ritual would cause harm to someone she loved. She understood that the thoughts didn't make sense. That was what made it so painful. People around Evelyn often joked about OCD. "I'm so OCD about my desk," coworkers would laugh. But Evelyn knew the truth. OCD was not about being neat or organized. It was constant fear, constant doubt, a mind that refused to let go. Sometimes she stayed awake for hours, replaying conversations in her head, afraid she had said something wrong. Sometimes intrusive thoughts appeared suddenly violent, disturbing, unwanted thoughts that terrified her. She hated those thoughts, and because she hated them, she feared them even more. One evening after work, Evelyn missed her train because she kept checking whether she had accidentally dropped her wallet onto the tracks. As she stood there anxiously searching again, an older man beside her spoke gently. "You know," he said, "the brain can create fear that feels completely real." Evelyn looked at him in surprise. The man introduced himself as Dr. Malachi Reed, a retired psychiatrist who had spent years treating people with OCD. For the first time, someone explained her condition without judging her. He told her, "Having intrusive thoughts does not make you dangerous. It makes you human." That sentence stayed with her. Over the next few weeks, Evelyn began meeting Dr. Reed regularly. He taught her about a treatment called ERP, exposure and response prevention. The idea sounded simple but terrifying. Instead of repeating compulsions, she would slowly learn to face uncertainty without performing rituals. One night, Dr. Reed asked her to lock her apartment door only once, then walk away. Evelyn's hands trembled. Her mind screamed at her to go back. What if the door opened? What if someone broke in? What if something terrible happened? But Dr. Reed calmly said, "Your goal is not to feel zero fear. Your goal is to stop letting fear control your life." So she kept walking. Every step felt impossible. But nothing bad happened. Months later, Evelyn had improved more than she ever imagined. The thoughts still came sometimes, but they no longer controlled every moment of her life. Then one evening, Dr. Reed suddenly stopped answering her calls. Concerned, Evelyn visited the old address he once mentioned. The small house looked empty. Dust covered the windows. Inside, she found only a cassette player resting on a table. A note beside it read, "For Evelyn." She pressed play. Static filled the room. Then Dr. Reed's voice appeared. "If you're listening to this, it means you finally chose to face uncertainty instead of obeying fear." Evelyn stood silently. "I never told you this," he continued, "but I struggled with OCD for many years too." She felt her chest tighten. "For a long time, I believed checking and repeating rituals could protect the people I loved. But fear only made my world smaller." The tape paused briefly. "Recovery begins the moment you accept that certainty is impossible." Then came his final words. "Don't wait for fear to disappear before living your life." Click. Silence. That night, Evelyn returned home. 11 p.m. She locked the door once. Her mind still whispered, "Check again." But this time, she smiled softly, turned away, and walked toward her bedroom. The fear was still there. But for the first time, fear was no longer in control. Obsessive-compulsive disorder, OCD. It involves intrusive unwanted thoughts, obsessions, repetitive behaviors or mental rituals, compulsions, and intense anxiety caused by uncertainty. OCD is not simply liking cleanliness, being organized, or wanting things perfect. Effective treatment is also available, that is, ERP therapy, exposure and response prevention, CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, medication in some cases, professional mental health support. Recovery takes time, but it is possible. Sometimes healing doesn't mean silence inside your mind. Sometimes healing means hearing the fear and choosing not to obey it anyway.